Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jodie and I help you change your beliefs so you can change your body, your health, and your life. This video, I'm going to answer another question. I'm really enjoying answering questions at the moment, not only because it helps me come up with content ideas, but also in answering these questions, I feel like it actually allows me to present the information in a slightly different way that you might understand better. So I'm gonna pop the question here, and I've got my laptop here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the question on my laptop, and I've got some notes because there are a few things I want to address. So the first thing is this weak core situation. So from what it sounds like, I would be curious to know if it's due to your weak core or due to bloating or a combination of both, and that is why you feel like you look pregnant most of the time. I cannot stress enough how common bloating is and how much it can mask what your actual body looks like. Bloating is water retention, it is not fat. Now, judging by this, obviously I don't know this person, there could be many things going on. I would suspect it could be a combination, but obviously a weak core will contribute as well, but I would be surprised if that's why you are feeling like you look pregnant. So that's all I want to say in terms of the bloating aspect in this video, but I would definitely look into that. In terms of your weak core though, weight training is going to be the best way to actually help you strengthen your core. Yes, you can do Pilates and things like that, but at the end of the day, why not do weight training where you're going to get the double benefit of not only strengthening your core muscles, but also building muscle all over your body. So if you align your nutrition properly, you're going to end up with a leaner, tighter, more toned physique than what you will if you just do Pilates. Because at the end of the day, Pilates does not help you build your muscle. And unless you already have a decent amount of muscle mass on you, you need to build muscle to get a toned body. Now, this is also where a lot of you go wrong. You think that you have to target just your weakest link of your body. Yes, if you have weak links, you need to do work on that section, but most of you actually need to build foundational strength first. And that means building muscle all over your body. If you just target one section, you're going to end up with more weaknesses. Now, obviously this is general, but if you are a beginner, that is very likely to be the case. If you are more advanced, then you probably do have real weaknesses. But to start with, if you're a beginner, I would say most of you have a very weak, poorly developed core because most of us don't use it. Like, I don't see too many people actually sitting up using their core. Most people are kind of like slumped down and just, you know, very poor posture, walking around slumped over and not actually using their core in day-to-day activities. So if you don't use it, of course it's going to be weak. And in this case, if you've had a child and you haven't done any postpartum work on your core muscles, it's likely to be even weaker. Anyway, when it comes to weight training, what you have to realize is a lot of the exercises that you should be doing in your program, especially if you're a beginner, actually use your core and they will help you strengthen your core. Yes, you should be doing some isolation work on your core muscles, but doing things like squats and deadlifts and chin-ups, they're going to require you to activate your core and start developing strength in that area. I think it's great that you want to start weight training, and it's definitely not too soon to start with a weak core. It's even more reason to start now. And in general, if there's something you want to do, don't wait. Like, life is too short. Waiting is not the vibe, starting is. Now to get on to the next part of the question, diving in. Yes, you want to dive in terms of starting a program, doing things properly, being as consistent as possible, but you don't want to dive in terms of doing exercises that are not appropriate for you, lifting weights that are too heavy for you, so you feel like you can't do it or you're too weak, blah, blah, blah. There is a gray area, right? Like, we don't need to be going for extremes all the time or one way or the other. So it's not a matter of do you wait or do you dive in? How about we ease into things and use a program that is appropriate for your level and where you are at in your body right now. The best progress is going to come when you start from exactly where you're at, have a customized program for you, and then make improvements on that week by week. Exercise selection, especially at the start, really matters. Your program structure matters, and this will change as you become more advanced. I often get told, oh, I can't deadlift, it hurts my back. It's probably because you have learned how to deadlift with incorrect form, that's very likely, or you've jumped up to using a weight that you're simply not ready for because you haven't been following a program that progresses in the right way for you. I actually got sent a question before by a girl. She was like, oh, can you check this program that I bought? And it had deadlifts twice per week for a beginner. And I was just like, that's not okay. You have to really understand the exercise and what the purpose is for that exercise. When it comes to deadlifts, they are very taxing on your central nervous system, and recovery is a big part of this. So when it comes to a deadlift, you can take up to 7 days or longer for your central nervous system to recover. So if you're doing them twice a week, I would, like, maybe if you're a power lifter and you're doing some technique work, or maybe if you are really, really advanced, but I would never program that for a beginner, especially in the rep ranges that were given. Another exercise in that program were shrugs. I would never program shrugs for a female. I actually wouldn't program them for a male either, because there's much better exercises out there that are going to get you better results for the time you're putting into your training. Another example is a barbell back squat, right? Like, I don't program a barbell back squat for an absolute beginner. Yes, the goal is to work your way up to being able to put a barbell on your back and squat with good form. Like, you should have some variation of a squat in your program to help you learn the squat movement pattern. But what you will find, say if you start with a regress version of the squat, so a dumbbell goblet squat, eventually, or pretty quickly actually, your legs and your glutes are going to get strong enough that holding a heavy dumbbell in your hand is actually going to be very difficult. And when that happens, it actually makes more sense to transition to a barbell back squat. One exercise I could pick that I see being performed in the gym most poorly, it would be the barbell back squat. And in many cases, it's simply because you haven't learned to squat properly using a more appropriate weight to start with. Now, another example is a Bulgarian split squat. I actually really like this exercise, even for beginners, but a lot of beginners will come to me and be like, this is too hard, I can't do it. And I ask what weight you're using, and you're using heavy dumbbells to try and do a single leg exercise. Now, in this case, it might actually make more sense for you to start with body weight for that exercise. And then as you get stronger, as your stability and your coordination improves, what you'll find is doing it body weight just isn't challenging. And that is when you can start to add a light weight, like a 1 kilogram dumbbell or 2 kilograms, and then you can work your way up from there. But jumping straight to using 5 kilogram weights or 8 kilogram weights in each hand, it's just too much. That kind of answers the second part of the question about beginning with a program that uses just body weight exercises. That isn't a good idea either, because what you're going to find is some of those exercises are too easy using just body weight, and you need to add some weight to make it challenging enough. And then you might find some exercises like a push-up, that's fine with body weight, because your body weight that you're trying to push up is actually quite heavy. Every exercise you do is going to require you to use a different weight. You don't want to be using 5 kilogram dumbbells for a shoulder press and then 5 kilogram dumbbells for a squat, because you're going to find that those dumbbells aren't actually challenging enough for your muscles in your legs and your glutes, which are bigger than your shoulder muscles, which won't be able to handle such a heavy weight. And heavy is relative as well, right? Like I said before with the deadlifts, you're not going to go in and straight away start deadlifting 100 kilograms off the floor. Maybe a 30 kilogram deadlift is more appropriate for you at the start, but eventually that is going to become so easy. I still remember when I was deadlifting 60 kilograms and that felt heavy. Now 60 kilograms is my warm-up set. So you expect the weight that you're lifting is going to change. You expect your perception of what heavy is going to change. And that's part of how you make progress in all of this. Now, one last thing I want to say about having a weak core. It's very important that you make sure you are not just doing direct ab exercises like crunches and sit-ups, but you also want to be doing stability exercises to help you really develop that inner core strength. One of my favorites for these is the pull-off press. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the question. I hope this helps you. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked it, please like it. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. If that is the case, I will see you in the next video.